If women are equal in the eyes of God, why are we not equal in the eyes of men? Zaina Anwar, Sisters in Islam.
It's time, past time really, that we gather as an interfaith community to state, unequivocally, that equality for women shouldn't stop at the doors of our churches, shrines, synagogues, and mosques. Lori Winder, Ordained Women.
The gospel of Jesus Christ has at its center the ending of domination of every kind. For some Christians, to use the gospel to compromise the human rights of women and others borders on the obscene. Their rights-denying actions must be exposed for what they are. Formal policies for the retention and augmenting of power by those men who already have it. The ethic of Jesus Christ proclaims the radical equality of human value. The ending of the subordination of women, and of all who are dominated, is critical to the building of the reign of God on earth as it is in heaven. Dr. Allison Bowden, Dean of Religious Life, Princeton University.
Gender analysis is not a threat to the church, but a tool that can enable us to root out those aspects in our faith traditions that perpetuate the oppression, exclusion, and marginalization of women. Perhaps some of us feel that things should be left alone, but the rising incidence of violence against women is a clear sign that all is not well, that gender inequality is not a harmless practice that will disappear. Gender inequality needs to be seen for what it really is, a crime against humanity and a seat for the struggle for justice. That struggle needs to happen within the church. Women's rights are human rights. Nantando Hedeby, Institute for Contextual Theology, Durban, South Africa.
The principle of treating others the same way one would like to be treated is echoed in at least 12 religions of the world. Others transcend gender, race, class, sexual orientation, or caste. In African communitarian spirituality, this is well expressed in the Ubuntu religious and ethical ideal of, I am because you are, and since we are, therefore I am. A mandate based on the reality of our being interconnected and interdependent. Fulata Moyo, World Council of Churches.
We have to work for a church community that seriously considers the needs and voices of the most oppressed, the least powerful, the people we have hurt the most. Jacqueline Small, Women's Alliance for Theology.
It's time for all people of faith to be outraged. It's time for our Christian leaders to stand up and say that women, made in the very image of God, deserve better. And it's time for us in the faith community to acknowledge our complicity in a culture that too often not only remains silent, but also can propagate a false theology of power and dominance. There is a growing understanding that women must be central to shaping solutions. Jim Wallace, Sojourners Magazine.
The place of religion in our societies and in many states today, particularly in the Middle East, is the determining issue for our future. The issue of women's rights is the main battleground for determining the identity of a nation. If we protect women's rights, we get everything right. If we do not protect women's rights, everything will disintegrate. We have to settle the place of religion in our societies and discuss it without fear of intimidation. Mona Rishmawi, Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights.
When women are denied equitable leadership positions in their faith, it is part of a larger culture of sexism that not only silences women's vocations and voices, but implicitly gives permission to the rest of the world to discriminate against women. Kate McElwee, the Women's Ordination Conference.
We call on all religious leaders throughout the world to take a firm stand and collectively commit to promoting the basic rights of girls and women. This will constitute one of the most important movements in religious history. It is a responsibility of any sincere religious leader who seeks to make this world a better place to live. Sheikh Mohammed Sharif Diop, Islamic rights specialist.